Why are you dropping bombs on babies? Let us know. Let us know. Let us know. Release the autopsy report, Ted Martin. What are you hiding? What are you hiding, Ted Martin?
I want you all to understand what the issue is here. You have a handful of people in the room that have made it clear that they are not happy with the position of the Democratic Party and where they stand when it comes to the issue of Israel. Now, that seems pretty common. Most people you would think would be on board with that. Then the other thing that you also have to take into consideration is the fact that the polls suggest that the Democrats are actually picking up steam at the polls as far as where people actually stand on the issue, that actually supporting the state of Israel has become persona non grata. I'm here to tell you that that's not true at all. In fact, all you need to know about this particular position is the people in the audience. See, they gave away the game. They give it away every time. Yeah, they say that they're not in favor of what Israel's doing, but when it actually comes time to put up or shut up, in this case, address the DNC chair and say, you will not get our support if you continue supporting Israel, they all sit in stone silence. Now, there are various reasons as to why they do that. They do it partially because they're cowards. They do it partially because they don't want to lose their standing within the party infrastructure. Remember, it's kind of like church. The gossip component that goes with the same elements of church, it's the same in politics. You don't want to disturb the roost. You don't want to rock the boat. Then you become a heretic, and then we don't want you around anymore. Not that we don't necessarily disagree with you. It's that we want a stable environment, and you're not allowing us to have one. Yeah, it's terrible what's happening to the Palestinians and the Lebanese and the Iranians. But Israel's our greatest ally. We have to send them a nicely hard, strong worded letter about why they should stop doing this. And if they don't stop, well, we have to beat the Republicans because that's more important. And there it is for you on a silver platter right there. The reactions in the audience say it all. They're just willing to go along to get along. And that's politics in general. But this couldn't be more obvious. You know, this is why we say it is infinitely more dangerous with the Democrats in power than with the Republicans, because Democrats protect empire much more effectively. So all the things that you see going on now are just being shoved right in your face because that's just how Trump and the GOP operates. But make no mistake, if you think that all of this that's going on right now would not be transpiring if Kamala or Joe or Gavin Newsom or even somebody like an AOC is in the office right now, would not be seeing a similar circumstance. This is exactly what you would be getting. The reason it's different now is because, well, you know, some people are just trying to find their way in a sea of brokenness that is this economic and political system we're living in right now. Now, guys, we have 278 watching. Only 135 have hit the like button. We really want to get this out to as many people as possible. As you know, our channel is heavily suppressed. So if you are here and you're watching and you enjoy this content, which we hope you are enjoying, please make sure that you smash that like button. It's the only token of appreciation we ask you to provide, and we really appreciate you being here. Kathy, we really appreciate you being here live as well. And not everybody gets to catch the live. I know it's not always as convenient, especially on a Saturday, but if you can, smash that like button and share the stream, and any and all support is tremendously appreciated. I think it goes without saying that this is a prime example. Thank you, Donna. Always appreciate you being here, my friend. I think it's also a prime example for everything that we see here today in politics, that when it comes to the America First movement, which I believe is what the future is going to be in terms of getting away from the state of Israel, the people on the populist right people that are America First, the people that support Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and the like. Those are people that take action. Those are the people that will not just sit idly by. Those are the people that are willing to take the fight to the powers that be. Whereas here, when it comes to the Democratic side of politics, they're having a hard enough time even accepting a voice like Hassan Piker, even though Hassan's not my cup of tea, but he definitely bears a lot of fruit. You know, a lot of people like him. A lot of people want to listen to him. And that's who they're pushing their fight against, which, like I said, when you get right down to it, everyone is saying the Democratic Party is where populist progressive energy goes to die. And that is true. But it's also where the empire is at its strongest because it puts so many people to sleep. And this is a prime example. If you just look at the people in the audience, they're all asleep. They're not there to do anything. They're not there to rock the boat. And then you have numbnuts right here in the front with that smirk on his face, because that, unfortunately, is where a lot of people are at. They feel the same way. They actually do agree that, well, if it's a question of our class interests, we will say that we're disagreeing with them, but in reality, we'll still support them. That's why everyone, and I mean everyone, who is running for president that we know of in 2028 is a supporter of the state of Israel. And no one is going to challenge it. Nobody. And this is just another example of how Jen was correct in that when you go to Capitol Hill, and if you think that the way you're going to get any change done, and I mean any change, is through the legislative body at the federal level, you're wasting your time forever. And when I see people say, well, we could just fight and work within the Democratic Party, you're wasting your time. It will not change. And the reason it won't change is pretty simple. How about the fact that the Democratic Party still has super delegates for their nominating process for president? Do you really think they're giving that up? Do you really think they're ever giving it up? No, there's too much corporate special interest involved in how the system is constructed. And they are not going to give it up because it pays too well. This is the same reason why when I was walking through the halls of Congress, almost every other person was a lobbyist. And then every other person who supports the lobbying is a consultant of some kind. And that is the business of Washington. That is the business of American politics on Capitol Hill. Now, that's not the way it is everywhere. And that's why I'm insisting that if you're going to make any type of fundamental change, and I mean any kind, it's going to happen at the local level, and you may get lucky and have an opportunity to make that change happen with something like the New York Health Act, because Zoran Mamdani is not going to be fighting actively against the efforts to push forward a single-payer healthcare system. That is the one shot in terms of activism, in my opinion, that anybody has right now. And you can go all in on that move. Go to Albany. That's where the activity on the ground actually makes sense. Because the fact of the matter is, you've got a great state senator named Gustavo Rivera, who's been a guest on our channel multiple times. It's been a while. Love to have him back. And he was a big supporter of Zoran when he was running before anybody knew who he was. And I can tell you that his efforts to get single payer through at the state level is as active as anything you're going to find in the country. Now, are people investing their time, their effort, and resources to get things through in Albany? Well, I can't say one way or the other. I know that the New York Health Act is an active group and that they are trying their best, but my guess is they are not anywhere near as effective as some of the other lobbying interests, and I'm sure they are in Albany as they often are. So to me, that's a big step, and that's where a lot of this activity needs to stem from. If you're going to go anywhere, attack the path of least resistance. Maybe you might get somewhere. Doing this, pulling stunts at DNC meetings, it's not getting you anywhere. And the reason it's not getting you anywhere, as you can see, you've got one or two or three people standing up, and then you got the whole rest of the audience standing there with their thumbs up their ass. And again, it's not like they may not necessarily, partially for the audience anyway, agree with the efforts of what they're trying to accomplish. They're just not going to do anything to help you get there. In fact, they'll stand in the way. Rocking the boat is everything. If you want to talk about the one thing that the Democratic establishment and the liberal class that supports them do not accept, do not rock the boat, ever. If you do that, you're cast out like a leper. That's it. That is the business of Washington. And that's not going to change.